Okay, good afternoon. Myself Manjul and along with me Aniket. We both work for Tech Mahindra for data layer team. So like before begin the solution, we want to like highlight what were the problem domain we identify. So like what we are trying to solve. Currently like we are, as a service based industry have lot of customers and the main focus is like how efficiently we can provide the solution. The solution should have a cost effectiveness. It's like ready to be delivered over the cloud infrastructure. Like now customer are not focused to create their whole infrastructure. It's best they can use the cloud. And the last and the most important thing, like they don't want to hamper their current architecture. They need a tool or software which can easily be pluggable into their architecture. Mainly like we are focusing to provide a solution where we can reduce the cost, provide a solution over the cloud computing, even also the overall framework should easily be integrated with the current architecture. So they don't have to like do a lot of modification to overcome a particular challenge. So as we are in the data layer team, so our main goal is to unify the batch and the near real-time data processing. So why we are doing this? So as I mentioned over the previous slide, the main is the cost. When we talk about the cost generally come in terms of licensing cost, or it can become as a annual maintenance cost. So that's the main thing. After that, the next thing which come is the proprietary solutions. Like if I am doing a data manipulation or data enrichment, then in that particular scenario, I am writing my own code. But what I need now from the industry is that there should be some operators or API which I can directly reuse within my solution. Because why I have to reinvent the wheel if it's already there? The other open source community are providing the solution, so why I cannot use that? The next one is like providing the solution for both batch and near real time. So that's the another thing. The next come is like the solution should be cloud compatible. The other thing like we are seeing in Java, it's like now it's moving to functional paradigm. So we want to take advantage of those features also. So we are more focusing like even lot of developers are there within the organization which can easily incorporate or easily identify themselves more related to Java as compared to Scala, as the learning of curve of Scala is quite complex as compared to Java. AIC is like it's cloud readiness support. You can like, application over like cloud. You can application over cloud. It's generally so. The next thing is like we want to take advantage of the Hadoop distributed system. Like it's provide the solution like fault tolerance is there. Apart from fault tolerance, we can like scale up the application. So those features we want to highlight, or we can provide the solution over that. So last and the most important thing is to provide a solution where there is a monitoring tool, the UI interface through which we can easily do a drag drop or monitor the whole workflow. So we were looking for that particular solution. So I'm handing over to Aniket.
Yeah, thanks Manjul. I'm audible. Yeah. Okay, so thanks Manjul. Good afternoon to you all. I mean, right now, I mean, Manjul had already spoken about is that we are trying to solve near real-time solution as well as a batch solution. Okay, so so in the first of the user stories, we were having a near real-time system or a data movement. What we wanted to data flow from source system to a target system. So basically in our architecture or this POC, what we did was Oracle had a Oracle with a golden gate. It captures delta records or a CDC messages, which is actually published over Kafka, and Kafka had I mean, we were using a DataTorrent Kafka input we are using a DataTorrent Kafka input, and on the Kafka input, we were actually having some data enrichment, and we used to store the result into a MySQL database, and the resultant enriched data is produced over JMS. Okay, so earlier we were using a golden gate to extract and pump the result and publish it on JMS. Golden Gate is a Oracle technology which actually runs on your redo logs. It captures the all delta events happening on your data. So any data update or insert or delete, it's captured by your Golden Gate. It produces a trail file and it publishes. Yeah, it is an additional tool. Yeah. Okay. So moving on to next story. We had a batch processing problem to solve where we had a large, huge files, terabytes of, gigabytes of file, where it had around millions of or billions of record, where we wanted to have a refresh set of files, which has to be compared with the previous set of files, and those we have to calculate the change data capture. And having calculated that change data capture, we wanted to have some enrichment, store that calculated number of records into a persistent store, and based on the changed delta files, enrich the data and publish it to HDFS. Okay, so earlier we were using Informatica for the same purpose, where the Informatica had different workflows where we were enriching the data and publishing it to database. Okay, so the same has been achieved using DataTorrent powered by Apache Apex, where those files were stored into HDFS. Then using the DataTorrent file input processor and a file comparator, so we compared the previous set of files and with the current set of files, calculated the total number of change data and total number of records, and the output file was again stored into HDFS file system. Okay, so out of this proof of concept, what were our findings? Okay, so one was it really stands out with a DataTorrent that we can easily achieve the unified batch processing as well as near real-time processing. Significant cost saving by replacing the Informatica and other licensing products. Okay, again, since it moved into HDFS or Hadoop based solution, so it was already a cloud ready solution. Being a Hadoop and distributed technologies, you had highly available fault tolerant solution. Okay, and of course a dynamic scalability. Okay, with a DataTorrent and powered by Apache Apex, having a nice drag drop UI, so you can actually configure and you can actually create your data flow using the their dashboard, which actually reduce a lot of time to market, as well as a need to learn new technologies, as Devendra had mentioned about learning a Scala. Learning a Scala, it takes months. Learning, let's say, Spark, Storm, these technologies, the learning curve for this technology is little higher than learning curve for DataTorrent or Apache Apex. Again, it was a Java-based application, so you already have a object-oriented paradigm, functional paradigm to work with. DataTorrent RTS supports public subscriber model. Again, it has a nice HTTPS get and post integration. Okay, so basically, again, few of the findings while actually developing the POCs were the debugging with this application was fairly fast, and it was easy. Again, when we were debugging the applications with Spark or Storm, it was little difficult for a developer to debug the same code or same functionality. Yes, I mean, that's it from my side. DTRTs is DataTorrent real-time systems. So any questions? We are actually into POC stage. So we tried this use case using DataTorrent, Apache Apex. We were finding with Apache Spark, with other open source technologies. Okay, so I mean, while comparing the experiences what we had with other technologies, learning those technologies, and the experience what we have with DataTorrent was relatively satisfying, because again you had open source operators readily available. You had nice UI, and it basically was solving most of our business problems. That's the reason, I mean, we found out that Apache Apex could be a better fit for our platform, where we wanted to have a different source systems and different target systems. We could easily integrate those source systems, have a different data enrichment and data transformation operators, or data transformation custom code to do with. And earlier the existing system was in PL SQL. So modifying the PL SQL code was relatively tougher than, and then again the testing efforts and all were significantly we are expecting that will significantly reduce with DataTorrent workflows.